What up, y'all? I'm David Jr. Delvalle, also known as Junie from Lowell, and this is the story of how I became Jumbo June. Education was my defibrillator. During the darkest moments of my life, it shocked me and sparked some unexplainable evolutionary process within me. I was 3 years into my 10.5-year sentence at MCI Concord for attempted murder in 2018 when Tufts University had put up a posting for a college and prison program. I wanted to go to school so badly, but I was honestly scared to death. I hadn't been to school in over 6 years, and I had been a solid C student for most of my life. I vividly remember sitting on the heater of my housing unit J6 a few days later, when my good friend Kevin Keel had walked up to me and asked me if I was going to sign up for class. My answer was simply put, hell no. See, Kevin was a student in the Emerson Prison Initiative, and he understood the transformational power of a college education. His reply to me was, "You aren't dumb, just go sign up." Even though I was scared, I decided that I was going to sign up so that I could make my family proud. Coming to prison meant letting my family down in so many ways. I had grown up with my father in prison for most of my life, and I never wanted to put my daughter Annalise through that same pain. Not only did I let my family down, I let myself down as a father. On June 23rd, 2015, I shot my own cousin in broad daylight over a series of robberies that occurred at my apartment. My circumstances were never easy. My mother was fighting breast cancer, and my father was serving a 15-year federal prison sentence for armed career criminal charges. I was a young father who woke up every day at 5 a.m. to bust my butt at my job building office furniture. So when my cousin kept breaking into my house, I just didn't know how to handle it emotionally. I'm not trying to justify my actions in any way. I'm just trying to be as transparent as possible. It was just really hard to process all this stuff as a young man growing up in a machismo culture. I was just trying to provide for my family, and getting robbed over and over again made me feel emasculated and victimized. I didn't even care about all the material things I lost. I just didn't feel safe anymore. Even after I had moved to a new apartment, I had gotten robbed at gunpoint in the hallway of my apartment with my daughter and her mother in the next room over. I became hypervigilant and my anxiety was overwhelming. This all led to me making the worst decision of my life. With all that in mind, the wonderful Dr. Hilary Binder, the director of the Tufts University Prison Initiative, TUPIT, and my educational fairy godmother chose to look past my transgressions and see the potential and power in me and give me an opportunity. The first time I sat down with Hillary, she had asked me why I wanted to be a college student. I told her that I had to do it for my daughter. I had to prove to her that her father wasn't a failure. I walked into Hillary's classroom for the first time full of nervous energy, but that quickly disappeared. As I sat in circle with my learning community for the first time, I discovered a new form of education, the restorative practice. Whenever you walk into a TUPIT classroom, the first thing we usually do is ground ourselves. Grounding is a deep breathing exercise, almost like meditation, filled with positive affirmations. After our grounding, we will usually have a check-in round, just to make sure that everybody was mentally and emotionally okay before we took a deep dive into the rigorous material. I've never felt so present, heard, and understood in my life, never mind in an academic setting. My first topic class was called Literatures of Justice, where we learned about the school-to-prison pipeline and the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, both of which had enlightened me to the social factors at play during my educational journey. We also read the autobiography of Malcolm X. Understanding that Malcolm X actually served time at MCI Concord gave new meaning to the work we were doing. I learned that even though I was incarcerated, I had the power to change who I was through education, just like Malcolm. Each topic class gave me a new perspective on the world around me. In my Critical Perspectives of the Americas class with Professor Elohio Guzman, we learned about the ancient civilizations of Puerto Rico, the Taíno. This taught me that my ancestors embodied community and had a thriving civilization. I became proud to be Boricua. In my international law class with Professor Bridget Conley, we learned about genocide, crimes against humanity, and global atrocities. This gave me a new lens to process pain, trauma, and community healing. In my quantitative reasoning class, I would be our in-class tutor with my professor Kim Ruane, who often told us stories about how credit card companies would hang up on her when debating over interest rates. This taught me the power of knowledge in math. A lot of my classmates struggled with math, but for some reason it came naturally to me. I don't know if I was a young hustler who just loved money, so I always paid attention in math class. Yeah, during exam weeks, I would actually convince correctional officers to break the rules to allow my friends to come over and study with me. My brother Shakir hadn't done math in over 40 years, so I loved to see him catch the concepts and gain his confidence with numbers. Education allowed my team of incarcerated scholars to change the culture of MCI Concord. We were all from different neighborhoods, gangs, races, and religions, yet we chose to come together in the name of education. Knowledge became a commodity, and the intellectual now became a part of what it meant to be a gangster. As my brother Kentel Weaver would say, we changed the definition of gangster. This was a paradigm shift beyond my comprehension. This culture shift extended well beyond the 30-foot walls of MCI Concord and spilled into the communities of Massachusetts. I now see a lot of my brothers working in direct service and nonprofit to better their communities. They each display immense empathy that is often prevalent in our Tuppet classrooms. I myself am a program manager at a nonprofit in Boston, Haley House. My program is called Take Back the Kitchen, where I teach nutritional cooking classes and food justice to inner city youth. I actually got my job from a speech on food insecurity at Tufts Medical Center. It feels full circle to be able to give back to my community through food, and Tufts has strengthened my knowledge through courses like Nutrition with Kimberly Dong and Health and Human Rights with Dr. Fernando Ona that I utilize every single day at my job. I am also proud to say that I am now a board member at my old high school, Lowell Middlesex Academy Charter School, where I work part-time as a restorative justice facilitator. My education has allowed me to go back to my roots and impact the education system in ways that I never imagined. I strive to bring more restorative style practice to students in need of an unconventional education, just like me. With all my successes in mind, coming home from prison after a long sentence was never easy. I was commuting over 2 hours from Baldwinville, Massachusetts, all the way to Boston just for one class. I would work overnight at a gas station and be my aunt's caretaker in the morning. I had an early curfew of 10 p.m., and Tuppet classes would end at 8:30. So there were so many nights when my anxiety would be through the roof trying to make it home. There were so many nights when my ankle monitor would die, or I would miss a train, but I never let it discourage me. I felt like I was possibly risking going back to prison for all the right reasons. I was willing to bet on my education. Well, apparently the bet paid off, because the experiences of Tuppet live within me everywhere I go. My village of scholars, professors, and tutors have embraced me along this journey in ways I could never fathom. Having this community of jumbos behind me has pushed me to become the best person that I could possibly be. This campus has welcomed me with open arms, and I appreciate everyone that has embraced me regardless of my criminal history. Before my first interaction with Tuppet, I was insecure, unsure of myself, lacked empathy, and lacked vulnerability, and I never imagined ever attaining a formal education. Now, I am the first college graduate in my family, and after I receive my bachelor's in civic studies from Tufts University, I plan on going to law school. I might even become a professor one day. I'm thinking about getting my PhD just so people can call me Dr. David Delvalle. It actually has a nice ring to it, don't y'all think? I consider my journey a true testament to educational justice. Educational justice means giving people like me a chance to change through the medium of education. It means allowing people to grow, flourish, and develop into themselves, regardless of what they've done. through the medium of education. There's a misconception that people often have that a college student is supposed to look a certain way or have a certain background in order to thrive at a university. But educational journeys aren't monolithic or linear. And no matter what you've been through in life or where you are, education can be your beacon of hope. That's the beauty of coming to college. We can come here and learn in community with one another, with people from all walks of life. We coexist and learn with one another through healthy discourse. My life experiences may be very different than a lot of students from Tufts, yet they've allowed me to connect with students across the globe and break the stigma of prison within higher education. Learning together is what ultimately leads us to humanizing one another and overcoming these biases deeply ingrained within us. Education is a model and a framework. This is bigger than just me. My story is proof that if you invest yourself deeply and immerse yourself in higher education, you will be a changed person. Shout out to all my professors, students, and mentors that went through that dehumanizing process of entering a prison in order to make my life possible. I was only able to come this far because of a bunch of brave college students who were just crazy enough to change the world of higher ed for the better. Shout out to all my friends, family members, and my beautiful mother who never gave up on me throughout everything we went through together. And last, but definitely not least, shout out to all the men serving life sentences who took the time to educate me, mentor me, and give me hope before my formal education. You all saw my potential, and I am eternally grateful. This school has literally saved my life. I may be the first formerly incarcerated man to come to this school, but I for damn sure will not be the last. The justice-involved community is here to stay. Thank you.